Winners of 6 of 7, the Anaheim Ducks have hit the stretch run at full speed. Spectacular goaltending. Highlight reel goals. Silfverberg hits the post, clumps the rebound down and scores!
What a play! What an amazing play by Jakob Silfverberg.
And dramatic finishes have propelled the Ducks back to the top of the NHL standings. Tonight at Honda Center, Anaheim welcomes the East-leading Montreal Canadiens. Led by former Norris Trophy winner P.K. Subban and Vezina favorite Carey Price, the Canadiens are looking to crash Anaheim's party. It's the beasts of the East versus the best in the West. And it's next on Fox. Back from a successful 2-game roadie, the Ducks home for a pair. And it opens tonight at Honda Center with the Montreal Canadiens coming to town. The top team in the West, in fact, tied for top overall in the National Hockey League are the Ducks, and the #1 team in the Eastern Conference, the Montreal Canadiens. As two of the top teams in the entire league clash here tonight. Hi, everybody. John Allers alongside Brian Hayward. One game in the books since the very busy NHL trade deadline, and if that game is any indication, Hazy, the Ducks got a very good deal on those boys.
Yes, they certainly did. Excited and energized would be the way that I would characterize the locker room right now. The core players agree that they have added some grit on the back end. They've added tremendous skill up front, and the Ducks are a better team.
Yeah, they got contributions throughout the lineup from the new players, and as a result, we got a new-look second line.
Well, Thomas Fleischmann is a high-skilled player. He's a veteran. He's 30 years of age, and it's clear that there is chemistry already developing between he and Ryan Kessler and Jakob Silfverberg. I thought they were sensational in the game last night against the Arizona Coyotes, and Simon Desprez, I thought, had a wonderful debut as well. Played over 20 minutes, was very physical. Pairing up with Cam Fowler, Desprez was a +3 in that game. He kept it simple, and he was rewarded for his work. And, of course, the Ducks gave him all kinds of support up front. Last night's opponent, not the caliber of tonight's opponent, clearly. Yuri Sakac, last night at Arizona, had a pretty darn good game as well. Had a number of really good scoring chances. So 4 shots on goal, 3 shots attempted. So you know when you get that kind of activity around the opposing team's goal, you're doing an awful lot of things right. He's got the hands, and he's got the patience to make play. And so early, at least, in this trade between Sakac and Devontae Smith-Pelly, the Ducks, I think, are pretty happy with the way this Sakac has performed. Quite a goaltending matchup tonight, and it's the source of our Mercedes-Benz Star Watch. It's brought to you by the Southern California Mercedes-Benz dealers. Gibson's been hot. Price has been doing it all year. Yeah, Price is the MVP and Vezina Trophy frontrunner right now. John Gibson, in his last 6 starts, has been really, I think, at the absolute top of his game. But tonight, it will be Frederik Andersen played last night in Arizona and was rock solid. So he's back after missing 9 games. Gibson stepped in, played really well. Andersen had to answer the bell and say, you know what? I'm part of this equation too. I'm still 1A, if you will, in Anaheim. John Gibson, he's probably 1B. And Gibson, you get a different style of goaltender. You get a more athletic goaltender. He doesn't have the size or the patience of Frederik Andersen, or the experience for that matter. But I think he's given Bruce Boudreau everything that he was looking for. Well, Anaheim tried to get better from a skill and grit standpoint, but they'll have to score some goals tonight against the guy who's probably the leading candidate for the Vezina Trophy. Yeah, and Carey Price is probably a combination of Andersen and Gibson. He both has the size and the patience and the athleticism. He's Montreal's best player. He's the only reason why they sit at the top of the Eastern Conference. And so you go back to those old sayings and adages inside the locker room. Traffic, lots of pucks directed at him, and hunt down some rebounds. Bruce Boudreau admitted this morning this will be a good test. Anaheim trying to improve their speed and their skill at the trade deadline. They'll know whether or not they match up with the Canadiens as the opening faceoff is next. Ducks Hockey is brought to you by the Auto Club 400.
Don't miss your one chance to see NASCAR live in SoCal this year at the Auto Club 400, March 22nd. Well, it's the only visit of the season at Honda Center for the Montreal Canadiens. They're probably happy to be in Southern California, but they've not been treated well by the Ducks that much of late. In the last 11 meetings between these two clubs, Anaheim with a stellar record of 7-2-2 against the Habs. Ducks became the first team in the league to win 20 on the road last night, and now we go to ice level and listen in on the national anthems.
Would you please welcome from Tustin, Don Wright with the singing of the Canadian and American national anthems.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
And now, if you would, please turn your attention to the Zamboni corner as we welcome the Irvine Police Department Color Guard with the presentation of our nation's colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Say, does that star-spangled or the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Don Wright with the singing of the respective national anthems here at Honda Center prior to tonight's game between the Ducks and the Montreal Canadiens. I mentioned Anaheim last night became the first team in the league to win 20 on the road in their win over the Arizona Coyotes. The Canadiens come in tonight with 19 wins away from home. This game 2 of a 4-game Western swing for the Habs. Time for tonight's Keys to the Game is brought to you by Honda. For those, we go to the Anaheim bench. Kent French standing by with Ducks assistant coach Trent Yawney.
Johnny, thank you very much. Trent, when you're facing a team with a lot of speed like the Canadiens, how do you need to defend against them tonight to find success?
Well, we got to do a good job managing that puck. When we have it, get it behind their D, and then when we don't have it, stay above them, limit their time and space.
Trent, thank you.
You bet.
Johnny, back up to you.
Thank you, Kent. The Ducks are going to have to contend with this man. Carey Price has a career-high 38 wins in his 8 years in the National Hockey League. He's already won 31 this year, Brian, in 21 less games than when he set that career mark back in the 2010-11 season. He only leads the league in goals against average, save percentage, and wins.
Yeah, not bad. And I think for Carey Price, a big moment in his career was the gold medal victory for Canada in Sochi at the Olympics. And ever since then, he's got even better. He's so much more confident. Very fluid-looking goaltender. I mean, this is a guy that rarely gets beat along the ice.
Sakach puts it off the side of the net as the Ducks work in the Montreal zone. De La Rose with a big hit in the corner, and the puck comes loose. Eller trying to move it up the near side, however, as he was forced back by Ricard Raquel. heard you talking in the pregame show. I think clearly it's Carey Price's Vezina to lose. But Brian, you were talking about the MVP talk. As a former goaltender, what do you think about a goaltender being considered for the Hart Trophy?
Well, I think in the case of both Price and Pekka Rinne, it's valid because, you know, Montreal gives up scoring chances. I mean, he puts up these numbers despite the fact that they've got a defense that at time kind of rambles and gambles. And the Nashville Predators also play an open style. Both of those will have to contend with the likes of an Alex Ovechkin, who is absolutely on fire now. 43 goals for Ovechkin. He's having a great season.
And to your point, the Canadiens give up the 9th most shots on goal per game in the league. And then you look down and Carey Price has a .935 save percentage. The next nearest guy in the league is at .926. I mean, this guy doesn't lead the league. The Canadiens lead the league in goals against average coming into tonight, but not because they suffocate you defensively. It's because Carey Price has been that good.
Yeah, and they are a transition team. And a transition team is a team that generally gives up a shot and then quickly moves the puck out of the defensive zone and counterattacks. So you're only willing to give up the shot if you have a guy like that on the back end that you have absolute faith in, and good reason why they have so much faith in him.
Puck bouncing around in the Montreal zone and finally cleared off the skate of Dale Weiss. Right back in come the Ducks. Palmieri on the backhand for Perry down low, and now the cycle to Getzlaf. Palmieri to the front of the net. He runs into Price as Getzlaf was trying to feed him. Now Perry intercepts high in the zone, and Anaheim brings it right to the front of the net, and the net is off behind Price, as tripping over it coming from behind the goal was Palmieri.
And you can see what Anaheim is trying to do here in the early going, and that is crash that Montreal goal crease. Here's Corey Perry, little cycle play down low. Getzlaf trying to deliver it. Good play with the goal stick there by Carey Price, sealing off the passing lane. And I love to see Kyle Palmieri walking pucks from behind the line and trying to jam them home. That aggressive play from Palmieri is what Bruce Boudreau is looking for.
And here we go right off the faceoff. Pat Maroon and Brandon Prust have found one another. Prust, one of the penalty minute leaders in the league, already has over 100 minutes on the year. 5th straight year he's done that. And Maroon for the 6th time this season dropping the mitts. They got each other tied up pretty well here.
You can see that Prust, the smaller man, doesn't have the reach of Pat Maroon. But he's trying to pull Pat Maroon off balance here, and eventually the linesmen pick their spots, get in there. Good opening tussle from both Maroon and Prust. And here's a look at it right here, and you can see that Pat Maroon dings him on the side of the helmet there. No damage done. You see how Prust is kind of keeping that chin well out of harm's way.
Now, the Ducks played in Montreal just before Christmas, and since then, Michel Therrien's team, as you can see, has been white hot. 21-7-3, and outscoring their opponents by a wide margin. However, against the West specifically and the Pacific Division, it has not gone well.
Especially since December the 18th, outscored 13-6 by the Pacific Division. Funny the way that some teams don't match up, others do. Ducks have had all kinds of problems with Tampa, for instance, in the Eastern Conference this year.
Anaheim has struggled with the East, yet they're atop the West. As a glove save made by Gibson on the long bid by Eller. And the exact opposite, the Canadiens sit atop the East. They have struggled with the West. So probably happy they only see one another twice a year.
I sense that Bruce Boudreau is genuinely excited about the way his team performed last night against the Arizona Coyotes. He saw some high skill plays very much in evidence, and he saw speed. He thought his team looked as quick as they have looked all season long in that game.
And the true test tonight is the speed of Montreal, and also the fact that Anaheim is playing the back end of back-to-backs. Been well documented over the last couple of years. They have been able to rise to the occasion in these second games of back-to-backs. For the Canadiens, it's the front end of a back-to-back. They'll be at Staples Center tomorrow to take on the Kings. Dupre rims it around in behind the Anaheim goal. It's turned back, and Gilbert's pass off the mark for Desharnais. Dupre puts it off the glass. That'll be a souvenir. It goes into the netting and back onto the ice surface.
You know, much like the Ducks, a lot of people were saying, boy, Anaheim made an awful lot of moves at the trade deadline for a first-place team. same thing could be applied to the Michel Therrien coached Montreal Canadiens. I mean, they picked up a bunch of players. We're seeing Mitchell and Flynn make their Habs debut tonight for Montreal.
Puck out of play from the neutral zone, so they drop it at center ice. Ricard Raquel and Jacob De La Rose take the draw. De La Rose, an interesting story, just 19 years of age. A native of Sweden. Picked up his first 2 NHL goals a couple of nights ago for the Canadiens as a bouncing puck is sent wide right on cue by De La Rose. And high hopes for him, a second-round pick. Who spent 1 year in the Swedish Elite League.
He's only 19, John, and boy, he looks like a good one.
He represented his country at the Olympic Games last February. He had 6 points in 7 games playing for Team Sweden. And a real nice tournament. Here's Postma. His shot off the leg of Eller to the corner. Raquel hacks it behind the net. Edom is taken out. And Sakic comes up with it. Back to the line. Lindholm. His shot's hit. That went off the stick of Devontae Smith-Pelly and just wide. Held in. Sakic covering the point with his cross-ice pass off the mark. Ducks will have to touch up. They do, and it's Sakic right back in. And he's stripped by Andrei Markov. Ahead for Galchenyuk, and he had to sidestep beyond Russian Francois Bolshinov. Raquel gets a couple of chances to get it in, and it bounces off of Thomas Plekanec. Plekanec gets a touch on it to center for Weiss, who's forced back into his own ice. Not yet 4 minutes in at Honda Center. No score between the Canadiens and the Ducks. Stoner delivers the hit on Galchenyuk in the corner. Centered, and Manson intercepts. He leads it back out, and the Ducks only as far as center ice before Tom Gilbert, the 32-year-old native of Minneapolis, intercepts. Gilbert, now with his 4th team, came over in the offseason from Florida as an unrestricted free agent. Miller behind the net, chops it back to the aforementioned Gilbert, and he'll use the glass to scale it out. Fowler back to get it. +7 for Cam Fowler in the last 3 games, as he's paired for the 2nd straight night with Simon Desprez. He races into the zone, just missed Getzlaff.
Well, he looks so confident handling the puck these days. And I'll tell you, the one thing we've been watching Cam Fowler every day in practice continue to work on his shot over and over and over again, taking a slightly smaller backswing and getting shots away quicker. As a result, he's getting more through to the front of the net. I'm going to go back to an opportunity for Hampus Lindholm. This is a double deflection. It hits Smith-Pelly. Then it goes off PK Subban and does not miss the far corner by much.
Off the icing call, face off to the left of Price. Cogliano tracking it. Sergei Gonchar, the 20-year veteran, plays it off the boards and out. And a hand pass going to be ruled here in the neutral zone against the Ducks. Now let's update our American Honda 3-star leaderboard after last night's game. Every time a Ducks player named a star of the game, we give it a point value. Frederik Andersen and Ryan Getzlaff sit atop the heap. Jakob Silfverberg was the #1 star last night. You see him a little bit down the list. And Andrew Cogliano was the #2 star in Anaheim's 4-1 win in Phoenix over the Arizona Coyotes.
It was good to see Frederik Andersen get back into the lineup. Always a little bit of a nervous moment, I think, for a goaltender who's coming off a 9-game absence, but he stepped in, was I think it delivered a typical Frederik Andersen performance. Rock solid, made one spectacular save on the night.
Silfverberg gets it in front, and Price sliding to his right is there to deny Ryan Kesler.
Well, this is vintage Jakob Silfverberg and vintage Carey Price. He uses his speed, gets to a loose puck, see him pick the head up, spots Kesler. And Carey Price, if you've ever played that game with the metal hockey players, table hockey, Carey Price moves so effortlessly around to defend the bottom of the net. He reminds me of the goaltenders in that game. His side-to-side movement is spectacular to watch.
Silfverberg coming off a career night last night in Phoenix. 3 points, a goal and 2 assists. One of his assists, a shorthanded assist as well. Kesler behind the play was tangled up with PK Subban, so Anaheim would have been well offside. They'll just get a change as they roll it in.
No question, Subban has a big target on his back in this game. The Ducks know that Subban and Andrei Markov are going to probably play 25, 26 minutes tonight.
Room in the middle of the ice for Getzlaf. Across the line with Palmieri. He can't return the pass. And Weiss forcing it out center ice. Getzlaf did not get out of the zone before he touched that puck. Number 2 scoring defenseman in the NHL this year is PK Subban.
And he is exciting to watch. 48 points already this year, and in the last 14 games, look at that, he's over a point a game and a +9. And Subban is a guy that will push the pace. He will always be the 4th guy in on the rush, it seems. And if you're playing the left wing tonight, you have got to be aware of PK Subban is. The Ducks left wingers be keeping an eye on him.
He averages over 26 minutes a game, which makes his consecutive games played streak that much more impressive. Tonight's 188 in a row for the former Norris Trophy winner. Hitting beginning to pick up as Manson stepped up in the neutral zone, and now Weiss works along the end wall. Comes right in front. Gibson steps out, makes a point-blank save.
Big stop. A little bit of miscommunication down low, a point-blank opportunity, and John Gibson, much like Carey Price, and Alex Galchenyuk was the 3rd overall pick back in 2012. And a good forecheck here, boy. Plekanec slides it out front. Josh Manson had left the front of the net, and Galchenyuk was all alone. What a good stop that was by John Gibson. Just kind of cruised out to the top, tucked those arms into the body so that pucks could not get through him.
Gibson's last outing, a career-high 39 saves. That was Sunday in the win at Dallas against the Stars. 15th appearance of the year for Gibson in the Anaheim net, as we're having a little trouble getting the puck dropped to the ice surface at center ice. Thompson sent packing, and now Palmieri steps in to take it. Lindholm from behind the net leads it out, and Palmieri trailing the play uses his glove to settle it. Gains the line, gets it over to Beauchemin. Score!
What a perfect shot by Francois Beauchemin, and a nice little feed by a streaking Kyle Palmieri. Started with some good work by Hampus Lindholm. Palmieri is just going to chip this puck into a spot. And it's the left-handed shooting Beauchemin on his off wing. Catches Carey Price a hair off the angle. He rings it off the far post and in. The shot is perfect. And Beauchemin gives the Ducks a 1-goal lead.
5 goals for Francois Beauchemin in the last 11 games. He's +10 in that span as well. And a hand pass off the ensuing faceoff will bring a stoppage of play for Francois, his 8th of the season. And that equals his career high back in 05-06. He had 8 goals when he split the year between Columbus and here with Anaheim. But he's only appeared in 48 games this season, Brian. I mean, the veteran really picking up his offensive game.
Think about the Ducks when James Wisniewski joins this lineup. You have Beauchemin scoring. You have Sami Vatanen about to return. Boy, big run by Subban on Kessler in the middle of the ice.
On just in time, didn't he? Palmieri and Thompson draw the assists on the 8th of the year for Francois Beauchemin at 6:31 of the first. And the Ducks have a 1-0 lead. Gallagher gets it to the point. Subban with a drive, and finding it through traffic, Gibson has it in the glove.
Ryan Kessler and PK Subban have done a little bit of fencing in this game. Look at Subban come across and stick out the shoulder into Ryan Kessler. Years ago, Subban would have dropped the hip, John, and he would have been able to make contact, but with a real focus around the NHL on player safety, I think it has changed the way that players approach that hit in the neutral zone. They're a little bit more careful, the player delivering the hit, than they were not so long ago.
A subtle little thing over there at the bench. Dan O'Rourke, the backside referee, as they awaited the face-off, skated over, and Ryan Kessler had an opportunity to have a couple of words with them. And you know, he was probably chatting about that near miss at the blue line. A couple of wry smiles from both of them. Some of the communication that you don't often see. Now it's Gilbert back behind the Montreal net. He's able to find some space. Galchenyuk now forced back. Getzlaf off his skate now applies the pressure. Palmieri heads to the bench for a change as it's lobbed over the head of Manson. He's run over by Galchenyuk, but good support from Getzlaf. Cross-ice pass goes through Emerson Edom. He's unable to seal it back into the zone. Here's Plekanec. Drops it back and hard. One-timer by Eller, turned away by Gibson. Lars Eller's had a couple of shots on goal here in the early going. A bit of a tough season for Eller. He's -9 coming into tonight. Beaulieu sends it over and a deflection on a one-time shot. Ends up in the near corner. Crushed back to the line, Nathan Beaulieu. Fakes right, goes left, flips it down low, into the slot. De La Rose, turned away by Gibson.
A great stop again by Gibson. And the Ducks running around a little bit in the defensive zone. Now they ice the puck, and they cannot get the change they were looking for. But a nice sequence for Gibson. He makes a couple of good stops. Montreal is a team that shoots the puck exceptionally well on the one-timers. We'll see a lot of them from their point men tonight. In this one, De La Rose in great scoring position, thinking top of the net. Gibson gets his shoulder on.
John Gibson's taken some pretty big shots off the shoulder here in recent games. Erik Karlsson got him a week ago in the game against Ottawa. Ales Hemsky got him, he told me, in almost the exact same spot Sunday in Dallas. Brian, you can speak to it once you have a spot that's bothering you. It seems like Murphy's Law takes over, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Right to the front of the net, and it's poked away by the stick of Gibson as Pacioretty is forced to ice the puck.
Silverberg again, just kind of darting into the open ice. Nice little play. Ricard Raquel feeds it down there. He's in pretty tight. And there again, you see Gary Price gets down, got those flexible hips, and takes away the entire bottom of the net. You got to pick the top corner. You don't beat him.
How confident is Jakob Silverberg right now?
Oh, he is feeling it. And you know what? It was just such a spectacular goal that he scored last night. And that can only do wonders for a player's confidence.
Max Pacioretty backhands it into the Anaheim zone. Pacioretty with 30 goals on the season. 6th in the National Hockey League. 3rd time in his career he's reached the 30-goal mark. He's done it in each of the last 2 years. This one off a skate right to Gibson, and he'll think better of playing it. And as he covers up, we'll revisit that spectacular goal Brian was just talking about from last night in Phoenix.
I'm 30 years in this business. I've never seen a goal like this, where a player has the presence of mind and the anticipation that a puck goes off the post and he comes right back to him. And we see that in slow motion there, but at real time, it was incredible hand-eye coordination and just a brilliant goal by Silverberg.
Made all the more impressive to me when I asked him this morning if he'd ever played any baseball, and he said not a bit. I mean, that was a reaction that if you've got a baseball background, it might be a little easier to do. He was the only player on the ice who saw that puck off the crossbar. Certainly Mike Smith did. Great save by Gibson on a quick one-time bid. That one off the stick of Torrey Mitchell. Mitchell making his Canadiens debut tonight. Gibson has been very good early on as the Ducks lead 1-0 halfway through the first. Thompson storms up the right boards. He's got assists now in the last 2 games as he drew a helper on the game's only goal. He bats it down with his glove. Gets away from Gilbert as he sends it back to the point. Dupre got it to Cogliano. He got it towards the net and went off the stick of Jeff Petrie and wide.
And Cogliano knows that Pat Maroon is going to go to the front of the net, so he knows that there's a good chance the goaltender's not going to be able to see the shot no matter where it comes from.
Petrie fell down. Maroon comes away with the puck on the backhand across the top of the slot. Serves it over. Simone Dupre. Now into the high slot, and Manson rips it wide. Josh Manson pursues the puck on the near boards, but Brandon Prust is able to angle it out. Dupre steps up and steps into Brian Flynn. Both teams changing. Manson is hit as he backhands it in deep. Canadiens to center, room for Thomas Plekanec. Goes wide on the left side. In behind the net. Releases on the puck. Has it on the forehand as he takes it off the dasher at the hash mark. Galchenyuk brings it into the high slot. Knocked down by Sakic. He tries to split the D, and the saucer pass goes past everybody. No icing as Sakic got to it first. Yuri Sakic gets it back to the line. Lindholm over for Boschman. Ricocheted off of Price and then off of a Duck player and just wide.
You go to the net and you get bounces.
Sakic gets the puck back. Getzlaf patient with it. Back to Lindholm. Can't find a shooting lane. Now does. That's off of Sakachin wide. Galchenyuk clears ahead. And Lindholm won't give up the neutral zone.
Boy, the Habs had too many men there,
Sure
John.
did.
And the player that was exiting the ice surface, the replacements jumped on the ice. He handled the puck.
Palmieri tips it in. Smith-Pelly angles him off. This is the fourth game as a Canadian for Devontae Smith-Pelly since the trade last week that brought Yuri Sakach to the Ducks. Postman drops back, got it to the line, not out. Markov steers it ahead, but Getzlaf comes up with it. Ducks captain. Serve it over, but it went off a fallen stick. A good job by Palmieri to get it back to him. 7:40 to go, opening period. Both teams with 8 shots on goal. It's a 1-0 Anaheim lead.
You see how Corey Perry finishes that check on PK Subban. That's a big part of what the Ducks are trying to do with Subban and Markov.
Fowler with a nice reversal to help Anaheim easily exit the zone. Dupre feathers it in. Kessler goes in after it. Gilbert reversing it up the wall. Dupre pinched, now loses his footing, and here is Desharnais. Forced wide as Silverberg covered the point. David Desharnais gets it loose. Pacioretty turns in front. Great pad save, Gibson. And there's Max Pacioretty. And he goes right back to the front of the net as Desharnais works it out high. One-time bid by Gallagher. Deflected on the way. Never made it to the net. In the corner now, Fowler's turning with it. And he does a good job to get his stick free. Kessler leads it the other way. Silverberg, as everyone else changes, goes wide on right wing, and now he's behind the Montreal goal. Still stays with it as Gilbert falls down. In comes Kessler out of the corner. Looks to the point, still possesses. And his pass across, ricochets back to Stoner. Keeps it in for a moment. Pacioretty flies the zone. He's behind the defense. Diving effort by Manson. Breaks it up. Bad change for the Canadians. Cogliano fires it wide.
Boy, he had Carey Price moving. He had a little space on that stick side.
Manson pinches up the wall but doesn't come away with the puck. Truss feeds it the other way and unable to track it down. Torrey Mitchell in the neutral zone. Now, this has been fun so far, hasn't it?
What a pace to this game. We figured we were going to see something like this. Montreal got smoked the other night in San Jose. They're the rested team coming in. But the pace is sky high, and both teams are getting glorious scoring chances.
Francois Beauchemin has given Anaheim the lead in the first.
We always talk about the term execution level. It is high in this game. John Gibson makes a good stop with the left leg. Look at the balance. Gibson's in position where the Habs able to get a rebound. Here's that play where Francois Beauchemin hammers it. It looks like it goes off Gonchar, just misses the outside post. And then a diving rescue by Josh Manson as the Canadians were trying to spring, led to this opportunity for Cogliano. The snapshot misses the far post by about a foot.
Face-off control by Anaheim at center ice. 5:50 to play in the opening period. 1-0 Anaheim. Corey Perry curls with it. His pass into the middle of the ice. Turned back by Markov. Getzlaf does the same at the blue line, and Palmieri gets it in deep. Perry finishing his hit on PK Subban, and Buchanan clears the zone. Lindholm trying to hold the blue line, but it's spiked ahead, and Buchanan hooks it to the corner. Jamming away at it. Galchenyuk, but he can't come away with the puck. The Ducks will regroup from deep in their own zone. Canadians want to change. And Anaheim will do the same. So Hampus Lindholm, the tops defenseman in the National Hockey League over the last 2 years in plus-minus. Hampus Lindholm. We ask a lot of people around the league. I don't think that would be their guess. Ducks lose control of it, and Gibson unable to catch it. He wanted to slow things down, but he couldn't corral the puck. Desharnais pursuing down low. Lindholm steps inside on it. Up the boards, didn't get it out again, and it's sticked away by Gibson. Bushman lost an edge. He fell down pursuing that puck, so Desharnais with it again, brings it in front. Knocked off his stick, and a bouncing puck does clear the zone. And Anaheim trying to get those changes now. Gilbert moves it right back ahead. Pacioretty stop and go up the left boards. Turns it back to the net. Tipped right on. Gibson made the save. Good tip by David Desharnais.
It's a quick play. That's what Montreal is known for. Those quick little attack plays. Ducks are tired. They need a change.
Bouncing puck in the slot, knifed away from Gallagher. And it's Silverberg who's asked to skate it to center. He broke his stick. He couldn't get it deep. Anaheim changes. Gonchar brings it right back, and then he got tangled up with De La Rose at the line. That's a break for Anaheim. It's Raquel. Races in. Takes it behind the net. Tries to wrap it around into the crease, but Price got across.
Almost impossible to beat Carey Price on a play like that. He plays deep in the crease. The wraparounds, he just stuffs them.
Beaulieu gets it to the net, and Gibson able to hang on to that off of his left pad. Some precarious moments for Anaheim in the last few shifts, but Gibson continues to hold the fort. Impressive numbers for Francois Beauchemin in the last 11 games, and it's been 9 games since Sammy Vatanen was in the lineup. Brian, as impressive as his offense has been, Bruce Boudreau has been impressed with his leadership over the course of that time.
I often think leadership for a guy like Francois Beauchemin translates to how he conducts himself on the ice. I mean, obviously the goal scoring is one thing, but sticking up for his teammates. He's a guy as one of the assistant captains on this team. He picks his spots, when to be vocal.
Gibson will hang on to this one from Smith Pelly. Coming up tonight on Fox Sports Live, highlights from the 3 other games in the NHL, news from the NFL regarding the futures of Peyton Manning and Adrian Peterson, plus A-Rod's first game in 18 months. That's tonight on Fox Sports Live and Fox Sports 1. You know, Brian, you mentioned it with Francois Beauchemin picking his spots. When Sammy Vatanen comes back in, does he jump into the play as much as we've seen over the course of the last nearly month?
Probably not. I mean, he knows what role he has to fulfill in order for the team to be successful. When the Ducks are good, they're getting some activity in terms of joining the play from members of their blue line, whoever that is, whether it's Fowler or Vatanen or now more recently Francois Beauchemin. But everyone can't do it. Everyone has to play to their strengths, and Beauchemin probably the best defender that Anaheim has in terms of protecting the area in front of the goal crease. And now he throws Simon Defray into the mix as well in that regard.
That's what makes his recent run, for me, all that much more impressive. I mean, you don't just change your game. I mean, you know your team may need something different from you, but it's not always a simple equation to just change your game and be successful at it. That's what Beauchemin's been able to do here in the last dozen games. 2-on-1. Plekanec. Save Gibson!
But he looks so confident. He just stared down Thomas Plekanec, who is no slouch offensively, and stands his ground. He says essentially, I'm going to trust my defenseman to take away that pass. Gibson, look at the positioning there. Top of the goal crease. Plekanec got him to lean a little bit to the short side goal post. Tried to pull the string and shoot it back towards the far post, and Gibson was just there waiting for him.
Plekanec's a good breakaway guy. He's got 3 shorthanded goals this season. Usually those shorthanded opportunities end up being 2-on-1s or breakaways. 11 years in the league now for the native of the Czech Republic, all with the Canadiens. Nathan Beaulieu hinges it back. And Gonchar's pass deflected only as far as the Anaheim stripe. Beaulieu will try the near side, and it's Dale Weiss. Brian Flynn in his Canadiens debut, came over at the trade deadline from the Buffalo Sabres.
Interesting, wasn't it, that the top team in the East picks up a couple of players from the Buffalo Sabres.
They're very familiar with them. They've been in the same division for years, but the Sabres are the bottom team in the entire league.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Buffalo beat Montreal twice this year. I imagine both of those two gentlemen probably had prominent performances
in Montreal as well. Here's Beauchemin again. Glove save this time from Price with no traffic.
Now that attack play for the Ducks, they just never seem to be able to get the puck right in the shooting wheelhouse. Cogliano's pass a little bit too far ahead of Kessler. His pass a little bit too far ahead of Francois Beauchemin. And no problem for Carey Price to snare that in the left hand.
Shots 14-10 in favor of the Canadiens. $1:43 to go in what has been a very entertaining opening period.
Francois Beauchemin, originally drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. He's got 4 of those shots and the goal for the Ducks tonight.
I think they're going to throw Raquel out of the circle. They will. So Yuri Sakac steps in to take it, and De La Rose wins it. Devontae Smith-Pelly trying to battle it ahead, and he does get it to Lars Eller. Eller into the Anaheim zone. Save Gibson, and the rebound swatted wide as the net is knocked off behind the Anaheim goaltender.
The Ducks defense, Hampus Lindholm allows his puck to get behind him, and then his check kind of skates into the open ice, but Lindholm closes quickly, goes to work on the hands, and it's the reason why Lars Eller takes that shot from the angle. And again, it's the confidence of the goaltender to trust that the back door is taken care of so that he can just worry about the puck in front of him. Doesn't have to worry about the pass.
Canadians, one of the top face-off teams in the league coming into tonight as a team, over 53%. That's third overall in the league. They win the draw here in the Anaheim zone. Markov shot off a skate, lays between the circles, picked up by Clayton Stoner. Kessler trails the play into the Montreal zone, pulls it in, and his shot deflected out of play off the stick of Andrei Markov. Join the Ducks diehards. It's the official booster club of the team, presented by the Tilted Kilt in orange. Just $50 will get you not only membership, but a limited edition Andrew Cogliano bobblehead, amongst other things. A beer glass. You know that's a draw for me. T-shirt, license plate frame, and much more. Go to ducksdiehards.com.
You're not allowed to join the diehards multiple times, John. How many times have I told you this?
How many in a set of beer glasses?
Depends. Depends on the size of the bash.
Getzlaf wins the draw, curls it down low, where Palmieri battles for it. Palmieri assisting on the game's only goal in the opening period here. And the Canadians denied entry at the Anaheim stripe, so offside is the call as Dale Weiss trails the play and brings it in.
We've been talking about Simon Desprez and the fact that the Ducks were able to get him for Ben Lovejoy at the trade deadline. I've been impressed with his mobility in the early going. I mean, he moves really well. Lateral movement has been impressive to me.
+3 in his Ducks debut as he handles it back in the Anaheim zone. Now a +12 on the year all told for Simon Desprez. Under a minute to go in the opening period as the Canadians pitch it in and give chase. Dale Weiss has it dragged away from him by Desprez, tapped into the middle of the ice, and the Ducks able to clear as it angles off the boards. Fowler pursues, gets to it, trailed by Perry, and a man alone in front, Palmieri, but Plekanec came back and took it away.
Now, again, it's being led by the Anaheim defense, picking their spots, joining the rush.
Getzlaf flips it in, 20 seconds to go in the period as Palmieri bumps with Markov. Andrei Markov missed only one game in the last 2 years, that after being beset by injuries for the previous 4 years. He missed over 180 games in that span. Good news for the Canadians is just that they have him in the lineup. First period comes to a close. Great pace, and the Ducks with the only goal.
An exciting game. Both goaltenders had their moments. John Gibson was sensational in the opening 20. 8 great scoring opportunities for the Habs, and he stared every one of them down.
So the Ducks lead 1-0 after 1, and we go downstairs to Mark Rogandino. He's with Guy Hebert.
Yeah, thank you, John. I mean, obviously, John Gibson is going to take probably most of the storylines out of that opening 20 minutes, Guy, but I thought the energy from Anaheim, especially from the opening drop of the puck, was great here tonight so far.
It was great, and the D were very active, and I think that helped the transition game. They jumped in. You could see on the goal that Boschman wasn't afraid to jump in, create the outnumbered opportunity, and again, John Gibson held him in there.
How about that guy, John Gibson? Come on, as Brian Hayward would say, some 10-bell saves in there. Not just 1 or 2 of them, 6 or 7 of them.
10 bell saves. I love it. Yeah, no doubt about it. As Hazy said, that he was very confident, and that's what they're going to need out of their goalie all night long.
All right, it's one defenseman in Francois Boschman who gets the Ducks in the scoring column up 1-0. We go downstairs for some player reaction to another defenseman, Cam Fowler, along with Kent French.
Yeah, Mark, thank you very much. So Bosch goes in on the rush. He scores the first goal of this game. When you face a fast team, a very good transition team like the Canadians, how do you know when to jump in on the rush and when to stay back and protect the house?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to read the situation. I think Bosch did a great job there. There was, I think they got their third man caught a little bit too deep, and Palmieri made a great play, and obviously Bosch finished it off with a great shot, so it's a good play all around.
Playing with Simon Desprez for the second consecutive game. How's that communication going, and has it been a pretty easy transition with the newcomer?
Yeah, it's been really good. He's he's a kid that skates really well. He's obviously a big body, so he plays physical, and we've been able to communicate pretty well out there. I think, there's been a few communication errors, but for the most part, I think things have gone pretty smooth.
Cam, thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mark, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Kent. Good start to the night so far with 20 minutes gone inside Honda Center. An even greater start for Anaheim. Francois Beauchemin's 8th of the year gives the Ducks a 1-0 lead against the Habs. It's the intermission report when we come back.
The Ducks on top after 1 at Honda Center against the Montreal Canadiens. Before we begin the second, let's go to the Anaheim bench. Our Kent French standing by with Anaheim assistant coach Brad Lauer.
John, thank you, Brad. John Gibson busy in the opening 20 minutes, stopping 15 shots. What do you have to do to limit Montreal's opportunities moving forward?
I mean, I thought the first 8 minutes we played a very sound game. I thought we were moving the puck very quick. The last 12 minutes, we turned the puck over, whether it was in the neutral zone or in the D zone. We got to manage the puck better in those areas, get it in deep, and get our forecheck going.
Brad, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Johnny, back up to you.
Thank you, Kent. We heard Guy and Mark talking about the travails in the second period of Bruce Boudreau's hockey club. You look at the last 7 games, they're -6 in goal differential. He's well aware the second period has been his team's worst this season. This morning he said we've got to have clean changes and we've got to monitor shift length. That's another thing in the second period. The coaches watch, Brian. You can't get caught out there too long. If the puck turns over on you, then you're caught out there and you can't get off at all.
The shift length goes up when you don't get clean exits, when you have opportunities from the defensive zone. You get trapped. The bench is so far away, it's out of your control at that point in terms of shift length and how long you can stay on. For me, it's about making good little plays with the puck. Every team in the NHL now, when they think they've got you trapped 30 seconds, the defense are involved. Their job is to keep the puck in deep. Everybody does it exceptionally well. Anaheim just has to get a little bit better about making those little plays under pressure.
And the Canadians get better as the game goes along. As Gallagher's shot, squirted out in front. Pacioretty, the high man, able to keep it in. Canadians are -12 in goal differential in first periods, but they're +10 in the second and +28 in the third. So this is a team that readily and regularly ramps it up as the game goes along.
The Ducks have been a great third period team as well all season long. The Canadians are 3rd in the league in goals scored in third periods. Anaheim is 4th.
1-0 our score, not yet a minute into the second period, as Lindholm brushes it away and a quick outlet pass is off the stick of Palmieri, who just turns back realizing it's going to be an icing call. You may as well save that energy because you're not going to be allowed to change. Well, let's go back to our Mercedes-Benz Star Watch once again. We focused on the goaltenders at the outset, and deservedly so. Both of them very good in the opening period.
Yeah, I don't think Bruce Boudreau wants John Gibson to have to face 45 shots again tonight.
It's not the pace he's looking for. Galchenyuk's bid is blocked by Getzlaf, who leads all forwards in the National Hockey League in blocked shots. Add another one to his repertoire.
Now, that's what I'm talking about right there with Francois Beauchemin. He makes a real good, firm play with the puck. Gets it on a stick, picks his head up, looks for his defense partner, and it's a clean exit from the defensive zone. It was a strange play.
Yeah,
where
everybody thought that was icing, and then puck squirts into the goal crease. Gibson had to...
There's the play with Beauchemin, John, excuse me, where he picks his head up, puts it on the tape of Francois Lindholm. It is about execution and making those plays under pressure that will alleviate a lot of the pressure that the Canadians will look to put on the Ducks here in this second period.
Getzlaf to oppose Plekanec in the ring to the right of Carey Price. Just gets out of the reach of Francois Beauchemin all the way down. They rule a deflection, so no icing. And Beauchemin used the boards to find Lindholm. Into the middle of the ice, Getzlaf pitches it all the way on the backhand across. On right wing, Palmieri drops it off. Here's Perry. Tries to toe drag it in front, and Galchenyuk on the back check took it away.
Boy, he had Beauchemin with him again on the rush. Little drop pass there, and it's a point-blank chance.
Getzlaf right back in to Perry. Spins backwards into the goal crease, and he ends up behind the net as he lost his balance, and Price was ready for that. Teammates on the Canadian Olympic team probably have a pretty good idea of one another's tendencies. Ducks regroup in their own zone just over 2 minutes into the second period, and Pat Maroon pitches it in on the backhand. Price plays it quickly himself to PK Subban. Subban moved it ahead, and Prust's pass into the middle of the ice didn't find anybody but Nate Thompson. He backhands it right on. Big rebound, and Cogliano misfired on it. His momentum was taking him away from the net as he was starting to retreat defensively. Maroon gets it back down low out to Manson, tees it up, tipped, ends up wide of the goal. Cogliano to the far board, seals it off, saucers it into the middle, kept alive by Thompson. Stoner takes the shot, stick save by Price. Brian Flynn reverses it from behind the net, and it's Subban who will lob it out of harm's way. A nice play by Stoner, who had to recover to swat that puck away. Prust is caught offside in the zone, so the Canadians will change.
Oh, very close again to too many men on the ice for Montreal.
Anaheim now 4+ periods without a power play. They did not get one last night in Phoenix. They had only 2 power plays combined in their last 4 games, including tonight. And that was offside as Gallagher a step ahead of the play.
I want to show you a play where Pat Maroon drives the center lane. Hey, here's Pat Maroon right here. Just keep an eye on him. Wide speed by Nate Thompson. Look at Maroon get on his horse, drives the middle lane, distracts the defenseman Subban. It's the reason why that puck gets off of the goaltender and arrives on the stick of Andrew Cogliano. So, you know, all those little things, the quickness on the attack, even if you're a great big man like Pat Maroon is, so important to generating offensive chances. If he just hangs back there, nothing develops because the defensemen for the Montreal Canadiens don't have to make a choice, and that's what the center lane drive does for you.
Face-off control by Anaheim. Silverberg had to step in and take it as Kessler was tossed. Now Kessler churns down low. Silverberg trying to center, missed Fleischmann with it. Fleischmann had a good debut last night with the Ducks. Picked up an assist, played 13 minutes. And in the 4-1 win over the Coyotes. Puck chopped out of the zone by his long reach as he's able to get to the near boards. David Desharnais into the Anaheim zone, cuts to the middle and has it knocked off his stick, and a penalty coming up here. And it's going to go against the Ducks. Fowler fell down. Desharnais lost his stick. And now it's Subban who brings it to center. Price takes the long skate to the Montreal bench, and they'll get the extra attacker on. Canadians gain the line. Lakanitz looks across, puts it down low. Eller hard off the boards, back out, and now it's touched up on the cross-ice pass from Subban.
We're going to slashing penalty here against Ryan Kessler. Desharnais was attacking Cam Fowler. Watch the chop right there. Just one hand on the stick for Desharnais, and Kessler just whacks the stick right out of his hand. And that's going to cost him a couple of minutes. So the Montreal power play has been a real weak spot for them. Just 11% the power play on the road this year. Kessler obviously doesn't like the call. That's the second lowest power play percentage in the NHL this season.
Brian, remember year in, year out, the Canadians were one of the most dangerous power play teams for a decade running. They've been in the bottom half of the league now 4 of the last 5 years, including this season. And it's a power play with Markov and Subban out high, and he just rips it. Rebound fired just wide as Gibson got a piece of it. Markov, one of the top producing defensemen on the power play in the league, and Subban's got the big gun. And yet somehow the Canadians struggling on the power play come into tonight 25th overall in the league, and they go offside.
Well, John Gibson has been terrific in this game tonight. You know that option A for the Habs is PK Subban. He's got a great one-timer. Here it comes. Gibson waves at it with the left hand, manages to get the heel. I think it's the heel of the glove on this one. That's why there's a rebound. Or he can wire it, PK Subban. So a good stop there by John Gibson. Just a thought about the travails of this Montreal power play. I don't care how hard you shoot the puck. If the goaltender sees it, NHL goaltenders are going to make that save most of the time.
Brendan Gallagher pursuing to the corner, but a good job by Stoner to fend him off and clear the zone. Stoner used the advantage he had. The tail of the tape was in his favor as he kept Gallagher on his hip. Now Gallagher brings it in. Tries to move it to the middle. Pacioretty gets it back to the line. Markov's cross-ice pass intended for Pacioretty. Broken up by the stick of Nate Thompson. Markov has it again and winds it around. Subban leads the team with 6 power play goals on the year. He stays out there as Manson digs it off the end wall. Nate Thompson has time and space. He'll skate it to center and then just get it the rest of the way. Price forced to take a skate with it. And back for Subban with half a minute to go. With the Montreal man advantage. Gallagher speeds in. Sends it around the dash for Cannons. Dupre got inside on him. Loose puck to Cogliano. Couldn't clear past Gallagher. He rolls it through and it sticks to Gibson.
Kind of bounces right over top of the stick of Cam Fowler. Lars Ellers was on the opposite side of him. The Ducks, under pressure, could not get the clear. Gallagher just kind of throws it towards the net. No problem for John Gibson. This puck is going to hit the stick of the goaltender and pop right up into the air. Look at that puck rolling, hopping. Gets past Fowler, in behind Eller. Gibson just snares it.
19 saves to this point for John Gibson. Started 9 straight in the absence of Frederik Andersen before getting the night off last night in Phoenix. 20 seconds left in the penalty to Kessler. He's off for a slash, and Cogliano battles the puck out of the zone off the draw. Cogliano came up with his 3rd shorthanded goal of the season last night in Phoenix. He's now 3rd overall in the league. That equals the number he had last season. Final seconds of the power play. And out of the box comes Kessler. 1 shot on goal for the Canadiens during that power play. Petrie's bid is blocked, and Getzlaf moves it quickly for Perry. Kessler joins the rush. Here comes Dupre as well. Wide is Perry in front off the stick of Kessler as Petrie got back to get a piece.
Yeah, good try by Corey Perry. He thought that Kessler was going to be able to free that stick up right in front of the net.
A little bit of a lively rebound on the slow roller, so Gibson reels it in and covers up. Still 1-0 Anaheim.
With Tim Jackman earlier today. Here was the play against the Dallas Stars that Jackman was injured on. Kind of an incidental contact between he and Ales Hemsky. The Ducks formally announced earlier today that Jackman will be out of the lineup for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So the good news is he'll be back for the playoffs. And he'll go play a very important role for the Ducks. They get into a real physical series. You want an honest, hard-working winger like Tim Jackman.
Penalty coming up to the Canadiens, I believe, here.
I don't know. Carey Price.
Carey Price was on his way to the bench. It was a Duck player who was knocked down into the Anaheim goal.
It looks like Francois Beauchemin is going to get it.
It is against the Ducks.
For interference.
I thought for a moment Price made the wrong move, but it's going to be another power play chance. Boy, speaking of incidental contact, Brian, that's exactly what that is between Beauchemin and Pacioretty.
Yeah, that's a bad call. They're battling for position on the ice. Beauchemin gets knocked down, knocked back into his own net. That was one of those 50-50 plays. The puck was not in the vicinity, so you might say that perhaps the edge should go to the offensive player, but the puck was nowhere near Pacioretty. They were just battling for space.
Second power play chance of the night. Both have come here in the second period for the Canadiens. Subban spinning with it. And now Pacioretty is the umbrella of the power play, takes the shot. Gibson hangs on. Canadiens in 2 games against the Ducks this year, 1 for 4 on the power play.
You know, they like David Desharnais on the power play because he can really move the puck. But I can tell you, Desharnais, if he's 5'7", that might be stretching it a little bit for him. And that's not much of a screen in front of the goaltender when you've got a 5'7" guy setting up at the top of the goal crease. It's a lot easier for the goalie to look around Desharnais than it is most players.
This one goes off of Subban right to Silverberg. Shorthanded bid, and it's blockered away.
Boy, that was
by Carey Price.
A terrific shot and a good save by Carey Price.
Canadiens turn it over again.
Never ceases to amaze me, that snapshot of Jakob Silverberg, how much he gets on it.
Smart play there. Silverberg could have just dumped it in. Instead, he pulled up at the blue line. He rags it back. And now precious time coming off that penalty clock.
You know, we're talking about the confidence of Jakob Silverberg, and you see it
Now Subban blows a wheel behind the net. Cogliano trying to center. And the pressure stays on short-handed. Getzlaf just missing Cogliano coming out of the corner. Gallagher brings it back up ice. Pacioretty gets it back from Gallagher out high, and Subban's shot trickles just wide off a deflection. Hammered around and out by Clayton Stoner.
The Ducks get a couple of good chances short-handed. They scored twice short-handed last night in Arizona.
Anaheim now has 8 short-handed goals on the year. That's second in the entire National Hockey League. As Gonchar rescues the puck and keeps it in. Plekanec moves it down low. Galchenyuk out of the corner. Gets it right back from Gonchar. Can't find it in his feet, but does work it down low. Good movement from the Canadian power play unit. Plekanec off the boards, takes a shot that's blocked. Nudged to the line and not out, and a second effort by Thompson angles it past Gonchar. Final seconds of the penalty to Francois Beauchemin. He stands ready to rejoin the play in the penalty box. Eller up the boards, drops it back. Beauchemin's behind the play. It's shoveled ahead. Carey finds him. It's a breakaway. Save, Carey Price.
Well, he went right back to the well, didn't he? Went right back to that low stick side. And Carey Price able to get a leg out and get a little piece of the bid.
Not every day you see a defenseman get a breakaway. Francois Beauchemin, who has the game's only goal, very nearly making it 2-0. Now it's Jeff Petrie. Former Edmonton Oiler angles it ahead. Galchenyuk got a touch, so no icing. Gibson out to play it. We approach the halfway mark of the hockey game. 1-0 Anaheim. Crust steps up in the neutral zone, kicks it over to Smith Pelly. His shot sticked out of play by Gibson.
What an opportunity for Francois Beauchemin. We'll take a look from the high-angle camera, and you'll spot Beauchemin jumping out of the box. He's wide open in the middle of the ice. Corey Perry gets the puck to him, and Carey Price, patient, watch the right leg pad. He just extends it. Got it with the blocker, actually. Remember, Beauchemin scored on that same side earlier in the game. At that time, Carey Price able to shut him right down.
Face-off is to the left of John Gibson. Shots 22-15 in favor of the Canadians, and a late change is going to be allowed off the Anaheim bench here. Ducks only had 4 players on the ice, so Emerson Edom climbs over the boards. Raquel steps in to take the draw, but it's controlled by the Canadians. Crust loses the handle, however, and it's Raquel the other way. Shovels it ahead on the backhand, turned away in the neutral zone, though. Now transition for the Canadians. Crust gets it over. Saved by Gibson. And another good chance for Torrey Mitchell, who's had a couple of bids in this game. His first in the red, white, and blue of Montreal. To the line, Lindholm tees it up. Rebound falls out of Price, and the Ducks score on the rebound. Yuri Sakach. He and Raquel were both sniffing around for loose change, and the Ducks have doubled their lead.
It's about the forecheck. Watch when this puck goes into the corner. It's Subban that goes back for it. He gets hammered by Sakach. Back to the point. The initial shot, Sakach keeps it alive. It's Rickard Rakell that buries the rebound between the pads of the goaltender. So a good battle down low. Starts with the hit by Sakach. Finished off beautifully by Rickard Rakell.
Rakell has moved into the top 10 of rookie scorers in the National Hockey League. He has his 6th of the season, and he continues a torrid second half. Carey Price handles in his own goal crease as the Ducks now lead 2-0. Smith Pelly's pass into the middle of the ice is furthered on by Eller, but it's over the glass and out of play. So Rickard Rakell from Yuri Sakach, and it's 2-0 Ducks.
Midway through the second period here at Honda Center, Anaheim Ducks up 2-0 thanks to Rickard Rakell. Moments ago, you found the back of the net. Take me through the goal.
We got in good on the forecheck there, and Hampus had a good shot on net, and I just tried to go get there, and Yuri got in Price's eyes, and it's nice to get a goal.
Rickard, appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Johnny, back up to you.
Rakell from Sakach and Lindholm at 10-16, 6th of the season for Rickard Rakell. 25 points on the year now. And the Ducks with a 2-0 lead. Fleischmann at center, taps it ahead. Kessler gains the line. Goes wide to the right side off the glove of Price. It's over top of the goal. tackle. Fleischmann, good puck retrieval, and Kessler rifled it right through the legs of Silverberg. Fleischmann pinned to the end boards by Jeff Petrie. Second game as a Canadian for Petrie. Came over at the deadline from the Edmonton Oilers. Dupre gets it to the line. Gilbert will hold it in. Pacioretty with a long bid. Gibson steers that away, and it's poked to the corner by Getzlaf. Desharnais, or excuse me, by Fowler. Desharnais took it away for a moment. Now Fowler has it again, and a nice play there as he reverses it to Simon Dupre. Dupre's pass skips its intended target, Silverberg, who then gets around Markov to nullify the icing. He gets the puck. Silverberg looking to set somebody up, tried to go short side, and that one skips all the way across. May have gone off the post, as I think he snuck it inside of Carey Price. Lindholm with a wrist shot and another rebound, swept towards the net by a falling Kessler. And again, he's tangled up with PK Subban. Those two have been intertwined on more than one occasion in this hockey game. Into a little run Subban took in the first period that ended up being a swing and the miss. And look out on the Anaheim bench as this cross-ice pass deflected out of play.
Silverberg continues to play at a really high level. He doesn't have any passing options, so he decides to rip it. I think it hits Carey Price either in the shoulder or the mask. But that line's been very good. Last shift, Thomas Fleischmann makes a couple of plays with the puck, helps create a couple of scoring chances. Kessler, Silverberg, and Fleischmann now looking like another line the Ducks are going to get some offense out of.
And Petrie loses the puck. Perry gets it back to Boschman. His drive is deflected by Eller out of play. 7:47 to go in the second. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs that promote character and leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and more. Visit foxsportssupports.com. Ducks on top 2-0. They have scored 6 goals in the last 2 games, Brian. And Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaf have not figured in any of them. In a long time, probably, since the Ducks have gotten that much production without their 2 leaders getting on the score sheet, and Perry very nearly got on it there.
That starts with Getzlaf. Speed in the neutral zone. He backs everybody off.
He covers the point and rifles it to the net, blocked. And it comes over to Smith-Pelly. Angles it back. Boschman slides it across as Getzlaf helps out in the defensive zone. Off the boards, unable to find it was Corey Perry, and now Jeff Petrie has it. Gets it to center red and puts it up on the high glass and in. Chased around the boards. Maroon just helps it along, but this will be an icing call against Anaheim. Stay with us. Coming up in our second intermission, one of the newest Ducks, James Wisniewski. It's been almost 5 years since he wore a Ducks sweater. Arriving in town today, we'll visit with our Kent French in the intermission. You don't want to miss that.
That'll be exciting for Wisniewski. I said as much. Comes to a team that he knows is going to be a Stanley Cup contender. And not only for this season, Wisniewski signed for 2 more years after this one. The Ducks get another offensive weapon on the blue line. And just add to Bruce Boudreau's depth.
And a right-hand shot, Brian. I mean, you probably can't overemphasize that enough. Anaheim wasn't that long ago. Only had 1 right-hand shot back on the blue line. And they added Ben Lovejoy a couple of years ago. Sammy Botman has emerged. Now James Wisniewski back in the mix. Josh Manson has come into the scene. Coaches love to have that balance back on the blue line between right and left-hand shots. I'm reminded of Mike Babcock's decisions with the Canadian Olympic team last year leading up to the tournament. Adamant about having 8 defensemen, 4 right-hand shots, and 4 left-hand shots. Thompson digs one out of the corner and his pass across. Fowler takes it off the boards and lobs it right back. Fleischmann trying to get around Beaulieu, and Beaulieu wins the puck. Gallagher has it knocked away. Fowler gives it over. Fleischmann's one-timer just missed. Kessler behind the net finds Fleischmann again. Tried to slide it over to Silverberg, but intercepted in the high slot by Brendan Gallagher. Pacioretty releases on the puck as he gains the line, stood into by Dupre.
Anaheim carrying the play. The second period scoring chances 6-3 in favor of the Ducks in the middle period.
Maroon angles it through the boards in neutral ice. Subban gets to it first. Thompson trying to finish the hit. And hard around the boards it comes. Mitchell moves it ahead. Former San Jose Shark and Minnesota Wild. Out there with Brandon Prust. He can't get his shot to the net. It went off of Stoner and out of play. The Ducks lead 2-0 with 5.5 to go in the second period at Honda Center.
I want to show you something with Thomas Fleischmann. Here he is on the left wing. The Ducks added him into the lineup to add a little bit of skill. It's about puck possession. Watch this shift. Little move right here, goes inside, makes a good pass, skate to stick, into the middle, and now Anaheim's on the attack. He goes behind the net, gets the puck, good pass to Ryan Kessler, and he sets up another scoring chance. So little subtle things. The ability to move that puck from skate to stick, to look people off, and to handle the puck with your head up often make all the difference in the world in terms of how your team makes out on the attack.
Very responsible player as well, Brian. He came to the Ducks plus 12. He was the plus-minus leader for the Florida Panthers. And he started his Ducks career with a +1 performance last night in Phoenix. Mechanics below the goal line, and a diving Corey Perry trying to take away a passing lane, and he slides into the goal, knocking it off behind John Gibson. You know, oftentimes in today's day and age, fans wonder if players pay attention to much when they're in and out of the lineup. I talked to Frederick Anderson this morning, Brian. I said, okay, you hadn't played in 9 games. He stopped me right there. He said 10. Hadn't played in 10 games. I asked him a couple of questions, and then he said to me, you know, I couldn't even sleep before the game in the afternoon yesterday in Arizona. I was so excited to play, and that's a real good sign for Anaheim.
Well, the Ducks have got 2 really good young netminders, and it is going to be an interesting battle. Bruce, it is a 1A and a 1B situation now with Anderson holding down the 1A moniker because he's just been so darn good this year. It also points out how important in today's game it is to have goaltending depth, because both Anaheim goaltenders have gone through injuries.
Rickard Rakell in the near corner, trying to get away from De La Rose, hooking it into the middle, couldn't find Edom, the intended target, and Lindholm holds the line. Lindholm picked up the secondary assist on the Rakell goal. He now leads all Duck defenders in assists. That was his 23rd assist on the season. He had 24 all of last year. And another plus. I mentioned he's the defense plus-minus leader in the NHL over the last 2 years.
And there's Sekach with a nice little play.
Maroon gets his own rebound back, and Manson in between the circles got it through. And some good jump from this line as Maroon and Sekach work down low. And now Sekach able to get to the bench and change, and Manson keeps his man to the outside as Weiss brings it into the Anaheim zone. Leaves it for Prust in the corner. Knifed away from him on a poke check by Stoner. But Flynn keeps it alive. And then Stoner dispatching of Prust, who then returns the favor.
So he got hammered in the corner by Prust.
Cogliano up the right side. Rolls it to the goal mouth, just steered to the corner. 2 players strewn about behind the play. Gary Price keeps the puck in play, doesn't he, Brian? He doesn't freeze the puck an awful lot.
I got to wonder, I'll have to check the numbers if the Habs are not a good face-off team, because you're right.
They're a great face-off team.
He likes to keep it going.
Here's Desharnais. Drops it back for the trailer, and Gibson denies. Markov coming late.
A rare turnover in the neutral zone by Anaheim, and you see the quickness of Desharnais and the willingness of Markov to jump up into the play. He doesn't make his shot, however. He's going to drill John Gibson right in the middle of the chest with this one. But a good opportunity for the Habs on the counterattack.
Down to 3:15 to go now in the second period. Anaheim has outshot the Canadiens 13-10 in this middle frame. A period that has been a little bit of an Achilles heel of late for the Ducks. They have the only goal of the middle frame. Gallagher hands it off on the wing. Pacioretty fakes the shot, knocked away by Dupre. Good play there, and Silverberg picks it up. Gets center red and rolls it slowly in. He's knocked down from behind as Patrick Pacioretty takes him off his feet. Fans want a penalty call. Well, the Ducks just don't get penalties called against their opponents, not of late anyway.
Oh, that was late. Split second late on that hit.
Gallagher's return pass for Pacioretty off a skate, and jumping into the middle, Fleischman can't connect on the little saucer pass from Silverberg. And here's an errant pass that should be an icing call. And I think they've got the Canadians for too many men on the ice. This is about the only way Anaheim's had any penalties called on their opponents of late. It's been the automatic calls, if you will, the too many men on the ice, the delay of game calls, the high sticking calls. As this is just the 5th penalty called against an Anaheim opponent in the last 4 games.
Well, you can see 6 white jerseys on the ice here in the high angle. So Michel Therrien's group gets a little sloppy, and the Ducks have a real opportunity here. There could be some rust on this power play, though, John. We just haven't seen it in so long.
It's not that it's not going well, it's just not going. So Raquel steps in to take the draw with De La Rose, and Anaheim with their first power play chance since Sunday at Dallas. De La Rose shorthanded, and Gibson forced to hang on to that.
De La Rose, the 19-year-old, has got some speed. That's a nice-looking stride that he's got. Habs are excited about the future of that young man.
You know he and Hampus Lindholm have got to know one another well. 21-year-old Lindholm, 21-year-old Raquel in there, 19-year-old De La Rose. They all hail from Sweden.
Sounds funny to think that Hampus Lindholm is a veteran.
He's the old guy there.
Relative to De La Rose.
13 seconds gone in the bench minor for too many men on the ice being served by Devontae Smith-Pelly. Just over 2 to go here late in the second. What an opportunity for Anaheim. They could split this thing open heading into the 3rd period if they could convert on this power play. Lindholm puts it up the right side. Palmieri off the boards and in. He retrieves it as Raquel was all tied up with De La Rose. Dugout, Sakoch gets it to the line. Lindholm returns the favor. Throws it down low. It ricochets right to the side of the net. Batted out of midair. Raquel couldn't get it on net as Palmieri got to it. And now here's Pacioretty shorthanded. Tips it around Lindholm. The save by Gibson.
What a stop. Great stop by John Gibson. Pacioretty under pressure. Tries to go blocker side, and Gibson was there.
Raquel finds Lindholm, and his bid out of play off the stick of Subban.
What a moment in this game. 2-0 game, and the Habs get a breakaway shorthanded. Pacioretty tries to go blocker side. Gibson read it perfectly, timed it. Watch him drive off the left skate, pushes into the shot. Boy, when you see goaltenders pushing into a shot from a shot that's released just 15 feet in front of them, they're really reading the play well.
It wasn't just a shorthanded bid, it was a shorthanded breakaway from Montreal's leading goal scorer. What a chance that was for the Habs. Getzlaf's shot is off the skate of Markov, and he nudges it ahead, allowing Flynn to clear the zone. Under a minute now remaining in the Anaheim power play, just over a minute remaining in the second period. Fowler ahead to Fleischman, hands it off to Perry, but the Ducks are offside. Kessler had preceded the puck into the zone. Well, tomorrow, Mike Trout and the Angels take the field in their first spring training game of 2015. They'll take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Fox Sports West has complete coverage from Tempe. It starts tomorrow at noon.
When you hear that spring training is starting their games, you know that you're starting the stretch run in the National Hockey League.
It's a fun time of year, isn't it?
It is.
Baseball gets going. The Stanley Cup playoffs are just around the corner. Some great races for the final playoff spots, for some division titles still to be decided around the league. After tonight, just over a month left in the season. Anaheim finishes up on the 11th of April. It's a Saturday night in Phoenix against the Coyotes. Ducks trying to become the first team in the league to cross the 90-point barrier here tonight. They lead 2-0 with under a minute to go in the second. Half a minute left in the power play as Getzlaf leads it for Fowler, who jumps on his horse, brings it to center, and sand wedges it in. And inadvertently puts it out of play.
Too much fluff.
You know that feeling, don't you?
Something that is not often said about my golf game, John. Cam Fowler, sorry, John, I was talking earlier about Fowler. I think he has changed the weapon that he uses out there because watching him in practice, shorter backswing, and I think a whippier shaft is allowing him to get a little bit more on those shots and get them away quicker.
Square grooves, you think?
Perhaps.
20 seconds left in the power play. The Ducks wind it up from back in their own zone. It's Fowler who leads it ahead. Boschman jumps in, rockets it right on, and it's covered by Price.
Yep. Boschman hoping not for a goal from there, but hoping for a rebound from Carey Price. And watch how Price plays this. He's just going to go down and absorb it. Tuck the arms in, let it hit you. And usually when you absorb a puck that way, it bounces out about a foot, foot and a half. You just cover it up with the left hand, no problem whatsoever.
Kessler steps in to take the draw. And it's Finn who falls but works it to the corner. Fowler up the boards, kicking it back into the zone, and now it's rifled past him. That's going to do it. The penalty will expire. Smith-Pelly serving the bench minor. Will come out of the box, and the Canadians full strength. 20 seconds to go in the period. 2-0 Anaheim as Getzlaf brings it across the line. Fowler jumps in. Flanked on either side by Canadian defenders, and it's put off the glass and out center ice. Plekanec tried to chip it around Bushman, but he wouldn't have any of it. Got it to Perry. He can't get the shot to the net. And the Habs will clear. That'll do it for the second period.
Real strong second period for the Ducks. They have the majority of the scoring chances. John Gibson, a sensational night for him through 40 minutes, and very impressed with the newcomers again for the Ducks up front. They are making plays with the puck and creating additional scoring chances. On another night, as you pointed out, John, where Getzlaf and Perry have been quiet, Anaheim looks comfortable in their 2-0 lead.
It's Ricard Raquel with the only goal of the second period, a victory in and of itself. The way things have been going in the middle frame for the Ducks, they lead 2-0 after 2. And we go downstairs to Guy Hebert and Mark Rogandino.
Thank you, gents. No second period blues for the Ducks here tonight. We've seen them have their troubles in the second stanza of hockey in the past, but tonight really good at both ends, and they add a second goal through Ricard Raquel.
Well, I think they're trying to reduce your stress level in the games sitting up here. But, no, they did a lot of things good. They put the puck deep. They got the transition game going, got great goaltending and timely goaltending. It was one of the best second periods I think we've seen in a long time.
And Gibson with a couple of big saves in there to keep the 0 on the board in favor of Montreal. All right, we'll step aside for a break here. When we come back, it's the Anaheim Ducks intermission report here on Fox Sports West, and it'll include Kent French with your newest Duck. It's a face you've seen before, Anaheim fans. James Wisniewski. You'll hear from him next.
Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the National Hockey League. Set to begin the third period of play at Honda Center. Anaheim leads Montreal 2-0. The Canadians will be down the road at Staples Center tomorrow to take on the Los Angeles Kings. The Ducks back in action after this third period, again at home on Friday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the former Penguin, Simone Desprez, storms into the zone on the backhand and gets a bid on Carey Price that he hangs on to.
Certainly not lacking in confidence. He looks comfortable, John. That little rush up ice. Very determined from the moment he got the puck. He skates well. Just 23 years of age. General Manager Bob Murray was saying the other day he thinks he's got a big upside.
And he stepped right in where Ben Lovejoy had been, playing opposite Cam Fowler. So an interesting decision by Bruce Boudreau as he disrupts his D pairs very little in doing so. Here's Pacioretty for the Canadians, trying to get it into the middle as Gilbert joined the rush, but he doesn't connect on the pass, and it's Desprez changing direction from behind the Anaheim goal. Gallagher knocks the goal off, and now we'll get a whistle as the puck is touched in the neutral zone by the Canadians' De La Rose. Take a look at our Hyundai game summary. One in the first, one in the second for the Ducks. Boschman in the opening period and Raquel, but John Gibson has been outstanding tonight all the way.
He certainly has. The Ducks have done a good job for the most part of clearing the way for Gibson to see shots. And the Canadians aren't really the type of team that sends a lot of traffic to the front of the net. They're more lateral pass and shot. That type of a challenge for a goaltender. But where Gibson's looked very, very sharp, handled his rebounds tonight exceptionally well.
Lindholm took around the dasher. Sakat coming back, and Anaheim possesses. Across the line, Raquel onside. And he's unable to work the puck back. And Smith Kelly makes a little move at the blue line. Emerson Edom holds the wall, takes the pass. It squirts into the middle, and Raquel pushes it ahead, gets it back, and gets it deep the other way.
I've been really impressed tonight, Tom, with the discipline the Ducks have shown getting pucks in.
Sakat steals behind the net. He's able to find Paul Mary back to the line for Stoner. Blockered away by Price as he saw it through traffic, but it's retrieved by Paul Mary. Into the middle, Getzlaf off his skate. Can't kick it up to his stick. Stoner retreats to get it at the Anaheim stripe. Manson's pass into the middle. Getzlaf and Perry gain the zone, and it's lobbed on net. And again, Perry Price, just as quickly as he catches it, sets it down for his defense. They turn it over. Getzlaf from behind the net, looking for a passing lane. All the way across to Perry. Takes it off the boards. Curls it around the dasher. Getzlaf gets to it. Out of the line for Stoner, just tapping it ahead to keep it in the zone. Perry swats at it. It's gloved to the corner by the captain. Getzlaf in front. Paul Mary hit the skate, I believe, of the defenseman Beaulieu. Again in front. Perry saved by Price. Rebound, and he covers up.
A good shift. Getzlaf has the puck on a string and looking for passing options. He spots Corey Perry, who has to take it from the backhand side, but there was space there. The young defenseman Beaulieu could not close quickly enough on Corey Perry. Still managed to get that shot through. And the goaltender Carey Price does a good job again, swallowing up that rebound. But good shift for the Ducks' big line.
Each team credited with 27 shots on goal to this point. Ducks riding a 3-game win streak coming into tonight. Thompson wins the draw. Cogliano's shot comes back to him off the leg of Brian Flynn. Dupre gets it to the front of the net. Thompson reaching. Save made on a little short bid. And behind the net, Subban uses the boards to find Torrey Mitchell. He clears the zone. Retreating. Fowler who goes behind his back. Dupre stretches it ahead off the stick of Cogliano, but denied at the blue line. Flynn had it chopped away with backside pressure from Pat Maroon. Dupre's pass off the stick of Cogliano and into the Montreal zone. Tom Gilbert after it there. Product of the University of Wisconsin. He reverses the puck to the former University of Vermont star, Torrey Mitchell. Desharnais has it knocked off his stick, and it's not held in at the line by Lindholm. So the Ducks will get changes and time and space for the Habs to bring it out. Gilbert nudging it ahead, but it's turned over at center. Good recovery by Desharnais, who comes back. Petrie weaving away from the pressure of Jakob Silfverberg. Pacioretty rolls it in. Lindholm will get there first. Draws Pacioretty and then reverses the puck away.
That's a great reversal. And again, it speaks to what we were talking about with execution.
Ducks have been very good in the neutral zone so far in this third period. Is a bit off the wing is held by Carey Price.
The Habs are a quick team. They're trying to get the forecheck established. Little chip into the corner. Watch Hampus Lindholm draw Pacioretty towards him in the corner, and then the chip pass creates all kinds of space and time for Francois Beauchemin. He makes plays look awfully darn easy. Very cerebral player is Hampus Lindholm.
Face off to the right of Carey Price. Getzlaf steps in to oppose Plekanec on the draw. Perry pursues down low, but Subban protecting the puck reverses away. Galchenyuk ahead to Andrei Markov. Perry got a stick on that, and Dale Weiss will just wire it around the base of the dasher. Gibson couldn't get to it behind the net. Josh Manson does on the near side. Kicked out of the zone by Palmieri as Weiss was pressuring. Galchenyuk back in, offside are the Canadians. Hazy, congratulations and celebrations for our crew as we congratulate our longtime stage manager, Michelle Hill, named the Teacher of the Year at the Alpine School up in the Little Rock District earlier. She's now in the hunt for the District Teacher of the Year in the Keppel School District. She's been our Teacher of the Year for a long, long time.
She takes care of us in the booth up here and makes sure that nobody gets in here that is not supposed to be here. It's the discipline from Mrs. Hill.
I had the honor of visiting her classroom a few years back. What disappointed me is how much harder she is on you and I than she is on the kids.
Probably for good reason.
Lars Eller sends it in, and it's gloved by Gibson, who holds on.
John Gibson at age 21 is still learning. And he'll be the first one to tell you that. And one of the things that I think as he gets more experience, tonight we see him hold on to every single puck. I think as he gets more experience, he'll get different reads and understand that sometimes it's not a bad idea to give it up. Put it in the right spot for your defenseman. And he's playing it safe and fully sees that his team is playing well and making good decisions with the puck. There's another example of Desprez, John, making a calm, confident play, a little bit of a delay to hold on to it and wait for a passing lane to open up.
Silverberg works the far wall along with Kessler in the Montreal zone. Sergei Gonchar over to get it. 41 games now with the Habs for Gonchar. He came over early in the season from the Dallas Stars. Well, the Ducks have not only been good in the neutral zone, but they're holding their own blue line, not giving the Canadians easy entry. Silverberg again hops on a loose puck, frees it up for Kessler to get deep. Carey Price handles it away. Price with 36 wins on the year. That ties a Canadians record. Most wins in the first 50 games of the season, equaling the mark set by Ken Dryden back in 76-77. That was a pretty good team, wasn't it, Brian? The 76-77 Canadians, as I recall.
Yeah, not bad. That team considered one of the best of all time.
I think it is.
In the NHL.
So for Price to equal that record set by Dryden is really saying something. It's been a wonderful year for the Canadians. They sit atop the Eastern Conference, but they trail right now 2-0. They're early in the third as Cogliano able to swat it out of the zone. Gilbert into the middle for Gallagher. His shot kicked away by Gibson with a long rebound to Getzlaf. He got hit up high as he tried to move it back to the perimeter. Platanek's in the slot. Can't find a handle. Subban skating freely. Tries to get it back in front, and it's battled away by Paparoon.
Watch out for Subban here. He's going to be coming.
Yeah, he's got the green light, doesn't he? He's starting to look like a rover out there, more so than a defenseman. Eller into the Anaheim zone. Puts it down low. Manson loses the puck and rolls in front. Getzlaf able to nudge it away, but unable to clear the zone as Perry. Canadians keep it in. Eller trying to go high short side, and he missed. Subban back to Gallagher, settles it. He'll take the shot, deflected over top. Eller goes after the rebound, loose at the top of the crease. Gibson covers up.
Canadians making a big push. And they rely on their goaltender once again. Look at him looking around, finding that puck through traffic. John Gibson keeps the Habs off the boat. Well, obviously, the big plan going in was to make the Habs play in their own end. And the Ducks, from the get-go tonight, quick on the forecheck, putting pucks in good spots, forcing the Canadians' defenders to absorb hits. Especially those two defensemen named Markov and Subban. Anaheim's done a good job in that regard. The forecheck very effective in this game and certainly a big contributor to this 2-0 lead.
Silverberg starts out of his own zone, gets it ahead, kicked into the zone. Palmieri. Excuse me, it was Desprez who jumped into the play. I beg your pardon. Trying to get the pass across. Fleischmann covers his point. He can't get it through. And now, straight by a couple of defenders. He angles it off the wall, gets it himself. makes a move, gets around Petrie, and a save made by Carey Price.
Boy, he is a shifty player. Bruce Boudreau was saying to me the other day, watch out for him. He makes plays that you're going to go, holy cow, was that a good play? We've seen a few of them in tonight's game.
Sellout crowd tonight at Honda Center of over 17,000. And they've seen the Ducks lead all the way. It's 2-0 now in the third. Long way to go. Still 12 minutes left at Honda Center. As Stoner trying to knock it away from Plekanec offside are the Canadians.
Thomas Fleischmann on the attack in the offensive zone. And watch him challenge the D. Boy, he goes right around Petrie and forces Carey Price to make another good stop. Very shifty player. Hard on the puck. What Boudreau likes most about him is not that he's a dangerous player offensively, it's that he's really responsible in his own end. Kind of a nice combination.
Face off from outside the Anaheim stripe. Controlled by the Canadians. Markov across to Gallagher, hard around and in. Brendan Gallagher listed at 5'8". You talked about Desharnais. One of the things the Canadians do not possess a lot of, especially up front with some of their forwards, is size. Getzlaf cycling. Cogliano trying to leave it for Perry, but it's forced back, and now pressure on Josh Manson in the form of Lars Eller. Getzlaf supports, and cross ice Stoner has space.
A little change with Cogliano moving on to the wing with Getzlaf and Perry. Add a little more speed.
Getzlaf comes in, tries to go blocker side on Price. It'll come around the boards and out. Lindholm with a nice play off the boards to himself, but he has to retreat defensively as De La Rose intercepts his cross ice pass. Postman looks over his shoulder. He's hit by De La Rose. And now it's the Canadians forecheck. De La Rose from behind the net. Angles it off the wall. And Gonchar couldn't hold his own.
Yeah, and it's about the continued pressure from Beauchemin there. And it forces the bank pass. It is difficult to handle back at the blue line.
Gibson stops it for his defense behind the net. Short little pass by Beauchemin. Thompson able to get it to Maroon, who gets it out. And Gonchar retreats. We approach the halfway mark of the third period. They thus far scoreless. Final period. 2-0 Anaheim leads Montreal. Lindholm reverses. Beauchemin has pressure. Behind the back, soft little pass, and Thompson uses the glass. Maroon sends it in. Price stays put. Maroon with a good hit on Weiss. Puck squirts free, and Frust works it out. Palmieri realized he was offside, so he didn't touch the puck. And he'll go to the bench for a change. Gilbert back defensively. With Beaulieu. Beaulieu moves it ahead, and Frust sends it cross ice into the Anaheim zone off the stick of Dale Weiss. And a delayed offside is no longer delayed. So we'll step aside. 2-0 Anaheim. Low scoring game, but not without its chances. 2-0 Anaheim leads here in the third period, and these are the updated standings in the Western Conference up to the minute. A double-digit lead in the Pacific Division for Anaheim. I think the largest lead I can remember all season now. 14 points up on Vancouver, but you see the race in the division, Brian, is from second on down all the way through those wild cards.
Oh, what a battle it is going to be. Remember, the top three in each division guaranteed a spot in the postseason. And then two wild card entries from the best of the rest.
It's a tight battle in the Central. Nashville just 4 points up on St. Louis. Chicago lurking 8 points back. The Pacific Division, it's 2 through 5 where the race exists. When you look at Vancouver, you look at Calgary, LA, and San Jose.
Boudreau's going to love the way his team has played in the neutral zone tonight. When you're playing an ultra-quick, counter-attacking team like Montreal, very few outnumbered attacks for the Habs in this game. The Ducks have done an effective job of really holding the neutral zone and forcing a team that doesn't like to shoot the puck in to shoot the puck in.
Right off the draw, jammed wide by Kessler. And Pacioretty lifts it out. Native of Connecticut, Max Pacioretty. Played 1 year of college hockey at the University of Michigan. Won a Masterton Trophy a couple of years ago, and he finds that pass off his skates into the middle, and Galchenyuk's shot is blocked to the corner. Good positional play there by Simone Dupre. Digs the puck out and scales it off the glass to himself at center. Kicks it in as Silverberg gets onside. Desharnais finally on the back check took it away.
The size of Dupre is very noticeable on the Anaheim blue line.
Gallagher scurries in, drops it back to Markov, blocked by Getzlaf, and he's hurt. Slow to get up, the captain. And he limps his way back into the middle of the ice, but he can't get to the Anaheim bench. He's trying to get there now. Plekanec gets it deep. Eller follows up. Puck on the back of the net as Getzlaf finally gets to the Ducks bench.
He is in distress over there right now and hobbling his way back towards the locker room.
Meantime, play goes on. Markov sweeps it over. High shot from Subban, missed everything. Slips through Eller at the side of the net. Now he works from below the goal line. Subban tried to activate, taken away by Cogliano, who leads it the other way for Nate Thompson. Thompson, one-on-one with Markov, and his bid gloved by Price.
Well, let's see what happened to the captain, Ryan Getzlaf. Concerned right now over in the Anaheim bench. The drop pass from Gallagher, and it is hammered. Getzlaf went down awkwardly to try and block this shot. Look where it hits him. It's on the instep of that left skate. He could not put much weight on that foot whatsoever. Remember, we've talked about the fact that all Anaheim players, not only the defensemen, but the forwards, are wearing that clear plastic sheath over the boot of the skate this year. And that was mandated by General Manager Bob Murray, who said, I am just tired of seeing broken feet on my hockey team, and I want everybody to wear that extra protection.
The Ducks at one point had their first 6 blocked shots in this game. All were blocked by forwards, to your point, Brian. So it's not a piece of equipment that's exclusive to the defensemen who stand in front of the net. And as I've mentioned on a number of occasions, Getzlaf leads all forwards in the league in blocked shots, which is nice, but it means you put yourself in harm's way on a very regular basis. Offside are the Ducks here. And we remind you that our post-game show comes up after the game. We got a fancy name for it. We call it Ducks Live, and it's brought to you, as always, by Mazda.
Anaheim unique in that, Ryan Getzlaf, one of their big stars up front, does spend a lot of time on the penalty killing unit. And as such, he's going to block a lot more shots.
Getzlaf walking back onto the Anaheim bench as the Canadians bring it into the Ducks zone. Pacioretty pulls up and then fans on the shot. Gilbert gives it back to him. Cross ice Petrie takes it off the wall, but now on his backhand, he pitches it in behind the goal. Desharnais just out-muscled there by Kessler, who pulls the puck back into the fray.
Kessler's got one arm wrapped around Desharnais. There's a wrestling match down low.
Galchenyuk out of the corner, walks right to the front of the net, knocked off his stick. And Fowler out of the slot moves it away for Fleischmann. Fleischmann upended as he gets it deep in the Montreal zone. Both teams changing. Gallagher strides into the Anaheim zone, trying to go wide on Lindholm, who gets his stick in the way, and the puck is out of play.
They're really well played. Again, by Hampus Lindholm. Good to see Ryan Getzlaf back on the bench. He seems to be fine. No surprise if Bruce Boudreau says, well, if you're fine, get out there and win a face-off in the defensive zone.
Coming into the third period, Anaheim was credited with 9 blocked shots, only one of them by a defenseman. 6:22 left to go, third period. 2-0 Anaheim. Shots are even at 31 apiece. Final meeting of the regular season between these two clubs. Eller out of the corner, and his bid is blocked by Lindholm. Getzlaf swipes it across the zone. Perry with a fluttering puck, waits for it to settle, gets it deep. Hard around, Getzlaf uses the skate to stop. I think goes back through Perry behind the goal. Cogliano continues to pursue, and now it's chopped up and out. Here comes Thomas Plekanec. Into the Anaheim zone, just calmly swiped off his stick by Francois Beauchemin.
You know, I was looking at the Ducks in the back check there. Boy, they had all kinds of help coming home.
Eller on a spinorama and a stick save through traffic by Gibson. Plekanec covering the point, and his shot deflected out of play. So buckle your seatbelts. It's the stretch run when we come back. Anaheim on top by a pair. Homestand for the Ducks, and it concludes Friday night against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Remember, way back on opening night, that's when these teams played there in their only meeting of the season. Pittsburgh native John Gibson was in net, made some spectacular saves, but it was a 6-4 decision for the Penguins when it was all said and done. Brian, you and I have talked. They've gone through their fair share of changes in their first year under new general manager Jimmy Rutherford, and I think it's going to be a much different looking team in here on Friday night than one we saw on opening night.
A little bit surprised by some of the moves the Penguins made at the deadline. It was interesting in talking to general manager Bob Murray about the Dupre-Lovejoy deal at the deadline. He said he got the call from Jimmy Rutherford, and the Penguins approached the Ducks about the Lovejoy for Dupre. And earlier today, Bob Murray was saying that his immediate response was, we're interested, we're working on a few other things. And then one thing kind of led to another.
So Ben Lovejoy comes right back to Southern California. Of course, it's his second tour of duty with the Pens. Pacioretty, who had 7 shots on goal in the first 2 periods, gets it cross ice into the Anaheim zone.
That's a great play there by Cam Fowler. He knows he's going to get hit. He eats the puck in the corner and then pokes it away from the second forechecker in for the Habs. Fowler really playing well. See him take a peek. He knows there's no pass. He eats it, puts it up against the boards. Then he wins a battle, pokes it past Desharnais, and it's an easy exit from the defensive zone. So well, that's a great lesson for any young defenseman watching the game tonight. If you know you're going to get hit, get up against the boards, keep the puck near you. Don't just throw it anywhere blindly. You're better off eating it.
Dupre and Fowler, you saw them communicating on the bench, both 23 years of age. As Perry unable to kick it up off his skates, so offside is the call again. Fowler for so long. Remember, early in his career, he had the veteran Francois Beauchemin as his partner. Then Ben Lovejoy became his partner. He's got to, I guess, get comfortable with the fact that as your career progresses, Brian, at some point in time, you become the veteran in the pair, or the older guy at least.
Ripe old age of 23.
Yeah. I still think Dupre's got him by about 4 or 5 months, but from an experience standpoint, he has many more games at the NHL level under his belt than does Simon Dupre. Stoner takes it off the end boards. And he's able to clear the zone. 4.5 to go in the game. 2-0 Anaheim leads Montreal. Josh Manson pulls it back. A nice play as he swings it up the wing. Maroon into the Montreal zone. Shakes off the hit from Petrie. Leaves it behind the goal. Thompson works it out high. Palmieri turns to the forehand, and as his stick lifted at the moment of truth by Smith-Pelly, who then rolls over his back. Puck came outside the zone. No, we've got a penalty here.
No, it's just offside.
Oh, yeah, I beg your pardon. Thank you.
Puck went across the blue line. Francois Beauchemin a split second late. Kyle Palmieri fans, and then there's a little bit of jousting. No surprise that the former teammate Devontae Smith-Pelly and Kyle Palmieri battling for a position.
Devontae Smith-Pelly was talking this morning about, you know, obviously he's back less than a week after he was traded, and he was asked by the media who he was best friends with, and he mentioned a lot of the guys that he played in Norfolk along the way coming up with. One of them was Kyle Palmieri. Emerson Edom and John Gibson were the ones he singled out. Of course, when you come up through the minors with guys, you tend to bond a little more. Kessler in the corner trying to get it back behind the net. The game clock down to 3.5 now.
Very impressed with the game of Yuri Sakat tonight, John. He's been strong on pucks.
Beaulieu uses the glass, and it does trickle through Fowler. Careful to protect it away from Max Pacioretty. I mentioned a moment ago, Pacioretty had 7 shots through the first 2 periods. Anaheim is shutting down. They kept him off the shot chart so far in this 3rd period. Of course, he's the big gun for the Canadiens. What a big save by Gibson. As Gallagher set up Eller. Ducks 3-on-2 the other way. Lindholm saved by Price. Pakanitz picks it up, nudges it ahead for Eller. He's got Gallagher with him. Cogliano on the back check disrupts him. 3rd man in is Markov, and his drop pass clears the zone.
Good physical play. That was Lindholm that led the rush. It was Bolshevin standing up in the neutral zone. At one point, the Ducks just had 2 forwards back there defending. But they continue to attack. They're not backing up.
Smith-Pelly got a big piece of Clayton Stoner. Stoner taps it to the corner. De La Rose jabs away at it. It comes loose. De La Rose gloves it down at the line. Flynn puts it for Smith-Pelly. He gets introduced to the corner boards by Josh Manson. Pulled out of the fray, and Stoner throws it over the glass. And I believe this may be a delay of game penalty against the Ducks.
Yeah, it's going to be. The indication from the linesman is that went out of play without making contact. It was Devontae Smith-Pelly who got in on top of Clayton Stoner and really applied the pressure. He's thinking glass. Unfortunately, the short glass on the side. That puck elevated about a couple of feet over top. Delay a game. So this is the last gasp chance for the Habs. 2:08 remaining. They get a power play. They're going to pull Carey Price right now.
3rd power play chance of the night for the Canadiens as Desharnais steps in to take the draw against Ryan Kessler. 2:08 to go in the game. 2-0 Anaheim. They tie one another up. The puck will dug out. Fowler lobs in the length of the ice. One hop into the empty net.
The center cut for Cam Fowler. It's a face-off win. It's Kessler against Desharnais. And Kessler is going to reach around and pull it back to Fowler. And look at that. One hopper.
And it's another shorthanded goal. 3rd in the last 2 games for the Ducks. Their 9th of the season. It's 3-0. And Carey Price goes back in the goal crease. Well-deserved, as well as Fowler has been playing of late. His 6th goal of the season. Ducks still shorthanded as Silverberg pushes it into the Montreal zone. Under 2 minutes to go in the game. Now 3-0 Anaheim. They beat the Canadiens in December at the Bell Center 2-1. This is the way you got to do it. Markov puts it in front, and the shutout bid is ended. I don't know whether Galchenyuk got that. I think he did. It's a power play goal. It's 3-1.
Yeah, it's the pass that beats John Gibson. And the Habs have got a little life here. Depre goes down, and he just throws it into the crease. Galchenyuk is there. I don't know if he ever touches it with the skate or the stick. Doesn't much matter. Cam Fowler, you see Fowler spin at the last second. He did not see Galchenyuk come from the backside. And Montreal strikes on the power play.
Been a career year for Galchenyuk. That'll be his 19th of the season. And there goes Carey Price to the bench again. Now 6 on 5 as Pacioretty comes off the bench and sets up Pakanitz who missed the mark. Getzlaf and Eller go after it in the corner. Eller got it to the net. Gibson running on the cover. And the wraparound from behind the goal denied. Anaheim able to clear the zone. Still over a minute remains in the game. 3-1 Ducks. Reverses it. Lindholm holds it as long as the Canadiens will let him and bounces it to center ice. Perry tried to spin ahead. Broken up by Cogliano. And Anaheim going to rag it back now. 1 minute left to go in the game. As Francois Beauchemin takes a look. Hard off the boards for Cogliano. Got a stick on it, so no icing. Subban rims it hard around. Desharnais off the bench. Gets the legs moving at center. Chips it in. Beauchemin meets him in the corner, reverses it. Lindholm puts it up on the glass. Markov tried to get it to the net. It went off of Getzlaf. Subban held it in. Desharnais can't settle a bouncing puck. Moved ahead by Beauchemin. Perry gets it into the middle of the ice, and the smart play by Getzlaf, just angle it out.
Francois Beauchemin, boy, he has been terrific in this game once again. Wins a battle up high in the defensive zone.
Gibson out to play it himself as the game clock winds down to 15 seconds. Thrown in front and smothered by Gibson as Smith-Pelly had a bid on a short little rebound.
John Gibson, you know, whenever the goaltender goes to the backhand side, they rarely get enough on it to get themselves out of trouble. Pacioretty just dumps it towards the front of the net. Well, you look at it from that angle. Devontae Smith-Pelly fans on it a couple of times on the doorstep. He taps it across, and Desharnais's got a wide open net.
11.5 seconds is all that remains. Carey Price is back in the goal crease now for the Canadiens. That's a little perplexing to me. He was out a minute ago. That's the proverbial white flag, I guess, if you will. Petrie gets one through. Rebound. Smith-Pelly had a stick lifted. He got the shot away. Just wide. Stoner battles it up the wall. Gonchar gets a stick on it. The hockey game is over. And the Ducks have run their winning streak to 4 in a row. Our Land Rover player of the game, John Gibson, who had his shutout bid ended with just a minute plus to go in the game, but 37 saves en route to his 9th win of the season.
Yeah, especially in the first period where the Habs had the better of the play. Gibson was sensational. He looked confident, and I think that confidence carried on throughout the Anaheim lineup tonight. And this is one of those games that there's a lot of smiles in the Ducks locker room right now. There should be. Confident-looking performance, a lot of good plays from the depth players in the Ducks lineup tonight.
It's 7 of 8 now for Anaheim, and they're the first team in the NHL to eclipse the 90-point plateau, back atop the entire National Hockey League by virtue of their victory here tonight at Honda Center. Our final score, the Anaheim Ducks 3, the Montreal Canadiens 1. Stay with us. Much more to come from Honda Center as Ducks Live is next.